Hi, this is Peg Fitzpatrick with my book club, and I am here with my special guest from an Uber car, Mr. Guy Kawasaki.
This is
Hello.
truly a Silicon Valley phenomenon. So I'm in the back of an Uber Black car because I don't
Yeah.
do the Uber X, Uber Pool thing, And I'm traveling south on 101. It's because I miscalculated what time I could get home. So,
Because you had a big fancy schmancy board meeting with fancy tech people. I got it.
well, not really. I had a nice lunch with the communications person of Wikimedia because I'm on the
Cool.
trustees of Wikimedia. So,
Very cool.
yeah.
Well, it's a nice throwback because our first book club, you actually tweeted in from a taxi like in New Jersey or something. I only remember that because it's all in the first book club thing, but you were like, I don't think I can make it. I'm traveling. And then you were like, hey, I'm in a taxi. So it's kind of like that, but now we're like not in taxis, we're in Uber. So books must be
Well,
selling well.
yeah, you've come a long way. We've gone from just text to now we have video. So,
Yeah. Well, back then Uber didn't exist either.
oh, really? Oh, that's
Yeah.
when they were stagecoaches, right?
Yeah, Stage Ghost, 2011 when we started doing book club. Okay, so today we are going to talk about The Art of the Start 2.0, which is an updated version of Guy's classic entrepreneurial guide, The Art of the Start. And it's much bigger and thicker than the original version, so there's a lot to talk about. If you don't know Guy Kawasaki, you clearly don't have a computer, but I'll give you a little background. He lives in Silicon Valley, as he mentioned. He was the original Apple evangelist, and he is now the chief evangelist of Canva, which is an online design tool. You will make his life if you go check it out after this, because that will make him happy, or happier, because he's always happy. Let's see what else I want to say. You were my co-author on a book. We worked together, and you're like an awesome father. So let's dig into questions about Art of the Start. Are you ready?
Sure.
Okay, so this is my first question. And it's really not Art of the Start, but I'm sneaking it in because this is my question I have for you. You have said that everything that you know about sales, you've learned from working in the jewelry business. And
Yes.
that is a skill that entrepreneurs, they have to be kind of like the jack of all trades. So what did you learn in the jewelry business that would help entrepreneurs with pitching or selling their business?
Yeah. So prior to going to work in high tech, I worked for a small family-owned jewelry manufacturer in downtown LA, literally downtown LA. And this is a company that got gold and loose diamonds in the door and sent out finished jewelry. So it was not a retail operation. This was a manufacturer. We sold to retailers.
Mm.
And let's just say the jewelry business is a very competitive business because at some level, 18 karat gold is 18 karat gold, and a VVS diamond is a VVS diamond. And so it was all about trust, personal selling, hand-to-hand combat. Uh, it's not like today where you have this freemium model and 20,000 people a day are signing up for your service and 2% are going to be paying you in the next 90 days, and you never know who they are. Maybe you store their credit card. Nothing at all like this. It's truly hand-to-hand combat, and I learned
Mm-hmm.
so much about selling that has been so useful for the rest of my career because at some level you're always selling,
Mm-hmm.
and it's a very important skill. You fundamentally in startups, you're either making it or selling it. That's the only two things that matter.
Mm-hmm. So was your first boss then the person that you learned that from at the jewelry business?
Yes, I mean it was, I really kind of I broke the color boundary, the race boundary, a lot of things because this was a small family-owned company of Jewish people, and I'm not exactly Jewish, and so it is a Jewish industry. It was really interesting. Um, I probably know more Yiddish than Japanese to this day.
Was it sink or swim, or did you get some guidance, or was it just like go sell stuff and if you don't,
It was closer to that. Uh, Not in the sense of we're going to fire your butt if you don't sell, but I worked inside, so I worked with the salesman, but I also made sales calls for the company.
Mm-hmm.
So
Boy,
I think one of the most
that's something that doesn't happen today either. Direct sales calls.
yeah, yeah. And so one thing you learn um, in direct sales is rejection, right? So
Mm-hmm.
you learn that you have to beg for an appointment, and the appointment starts late or it gets canceled at the last minute, and you do the whole thing and you negotiate the whole thing, and then they cancel the order, or you get all this done, and then you find out that the guy doesn't have the right credit, so you can't place the order. I mean, there's so many things could go wrong. And I think it's a very valuable skill. That, today, again, you just say, all right, we got 10,000 new signups today, and we're gonna monetize 100 of them, and that's our business model. And it's not like that in jewelry.
No, yeah, hand to hand. Awesome. Okay, so now my burning question that I had has been answered. I can move on. Okay, so this question comes from a millennial. Ms. Shayla read your book, and she would like to know what 3 classes you would recommend for college students who would like to start a startup. So if they're in college, what would you recommend?
If you were in college, I would first of all take at least one computer science programming class.
Hmm.
Not necessarily because you're going to be a programmer, but at least so that you know when programmers are lying to you. Because sometimes it's hard to tell when they're lying. Sometimes they don't know they're lying. So at least one engineering class. Um, I would also take a class in writing, and I
Mm,
would take a class if such a thing exists in debate or presenting or pitching.
mhm.
Uh, and now you could also the flip side of this question is what classes are not necessary, and um, I kind of think that things like accounting and all that, which everybody says you should know, are less necessary because those are positions that are easy to hire for.
Mhm.
Uh, so I would rather have an articulate person in writing and speaking who either is a programmer or understands programming than to have someone who's an expert in finance, accounting, and operations research. Um, I think those are staff positions at startups, which is different than founder positions.
Mhm. Cool. Okay, so networking is key to success in being a entrepreneur. So, can you give some tips on how to connect and maintain a network? Because I know that's one of the things that you have a huge, amazing network. So, you clearly know how to do it.
Well, I think the way I achieve success for this is I kind of default to yes, which means that basically whenever I meet people, I'm always thinking, how can I help them?
Hmm.
And this is an unusual attitude. Many people are thinking quite the opposite. They're thinking, well, how can I say no? Or what ask? Or, how can I not be taken advantage of? And I think if you go through life like that, man, you're going to miss a lot. I think the upside of defaulting to yes far exceeds the downside of maybe being taken advantage of. I've never really been taken advantage of, and you've been actually involved in some cases where people try to take advantage of us, right? And
Yeah.
you know, they never got it. They never took advantage of us, and we will never, ever freaking help them again. So
Now people know.
we keep a
That's
little. Right? I
we
mean,
keep a
there
list.
is defaulting. There's defaulting. Yes, and there's stupidity.
Yeah. That's the truth. So when you let me ask you this, when you meet people that are on a level that you'd like to connect with, how do you stay connected with people? Through email mostly?
Yeah, mostly through email. Uh, I can't tell you that I'm this really warm and fuzzy, touchy-feely person who's like, the thing I hate to do more than anything is meet in person.
Yeah?
I think so. Yeah, I hate to tell you, it's so inefficient. Like, like people send me emails and they want to have a cup of coffee, right? And in their mind, they're asking me for a half an hour, but it's not true
Right.
because most times it takes a half an hour to get there, and then it never really goes half an hour. It always goes an hour. So now we're at an hour and a half, and then it takes a half hour to get back. So it's 2 hours. And so 2 hours in my work day after I drop off kids and play hockey, I really have about 4 to 6 hours that's left. So you're taking up half my day. And so
Yeah.
what it feels like a quick cup of coffee at Starbucks to you is half my day to me.
Hmm.
And I know it sounds kind of arrogant and kind of like not defaulting to yes. I would much rather you send me a 5 sentence email and I can just help you via email. And rather than you telling me your whole freaking life story and trying to be my buddy, I don't want any more buddies.
I solved that by living in New Hampshire. So
Yeah, that's right. That's right.
I'm sorry, I'm in New Hampshire. Actually, I had a guy today. He was very nice, but he tried to like pitch me in my Facebook messaging, which is like to me not the right. That's what I was like, really? Because he was like, he was like, I just wanted to say hi. And I'm like, hi. I had no idea who he was. And then he started with, so I've had a question that I've been wanting to ask you for a long time. Can I ask it? So that's kind of like you just wasted the question, but okay. So I'm like, sure, shoot.
Yeah.
And then he starts with, he really had something that he wanted to pitch me, but then he finished it with like, and I wonder, what your thoughts are on social media. I'm like, so have you been waiting to pitch this to me or did you want to know about social media? He's like, oh, you're very direct. And I'm like, well, if you want to pitch. So I didn't actually answer his questions, but I did give him some tips on if you want to connect with someone that you should send an email pitch, not like, a blind connection like that because he kind of
I,
blew it.
I would just send them a link to our book and say, here, you want to understand social media, read the book.
Right, right. So that leads me to email pitches, which you mentioned you like 5 sentence email pitches. And I'll tell you a secret. I think I may have already told you this, but maybe other people don't know this. I actually, before I sent my first request to book club, I reread the section in Enchantment a whole bunch of times to make sure that I met exactly what you like in an email. And I would spend like forever making sure I had really good creative subject lines because that is really like the key to getting email open. So I Guy Kawasaki my email to Guy Kawasaki.
Do you have it? You should save that.
I
Like,
did it. It says, "Dear Mr. Kawasaki." Isn't that funny? But I didn't know you, so you should be polite, right?
obviously it worked. You should post that, and then everybody will copy and paste it, and I'll get the same thing thousands of times.
Well, tell me what kind of email pitches do work? Well, I was asking you if you would be a guest on book club, so it was something that was really kind of beneficial to you too. Like, but it's a two-way street. When people are asking you to be in a podcast or a hangout, it's kind of like they're asking you for time, which is valuable. So,
Well, for me, it's all about the subject line because I probably have made up my mind just from the subject line. And
mhm,
it's really like the first 3 to 5 words. I mean, I
mhm.
tell people it's 5 sentences, but I make some absolute killers. So if somebody starts off an email to me with, as you probably know,
Mm.
okay, so it's like, as you probably know, social media is a hot topic. I throw the email away. I just like, yeah, I probably do know social media is a hot topic. I probably do know that security is a hot topic. I probably do know that the world is round. So, like I just think it's an idiot that starts an email with "as you probably know," because if you know I probably know, then why the hell are you telling me? So, another kind of killer introduction sentence for an email is, you know, my 22-year-old client has created a $1 million company and is writing a book, How to Succeed in Life. And like, 22 years old, you don't know how to succeed in life, and I could give a shit that you started a $1 million company. Like,
Yeah.
if Steve Jobs sent me that email, if Elon Musk sent me that email, okay. But your 22-year-old client Joe Schmo of Schmo Way, who wrote who's Schmo Industries, $1.5 million Schmo business, I could care less. Um, so now all these PR people are saying, "Oh, guys, such an arrogant asshole," and all that. But
The
uh,
PR emails really are the worst though. They're so canned. Like, and someone's paying a lot of money to have someone send that email on their behalf. It's like
well,
not
the The even funnier ones are like, your book, Rich Dad, Poor Dad, is one of my favorites. Oops, that's Kiyosaki, not Kawasaki.
Yeah, that's like, do you respond to those at all, or do you just delete?
Well, I respond just to humiliate them, and I say, well, I'm poor dad, poor dad. I'm Kawasaki, not Kiyosaki. I know we all look alike and we all sound alike, but you got the wrong guy.
So if somebody does have a great subject line and they have a really nice, short, concise, I know you're very busy. I have this app I created. Here's a link to it. Tell me what you think. Do you ever take the bait and click on those to see what they are?
All the time.
Yeah.
All the time. Especially if it's like social media, right? So, if it's something like, I know you use Buffer and Sprout and Hootsuite. Let me show you an alternative. I would look at that all day long.
Mm-hmm.
Or, I know you're into optimizing something, so here's a way. Or, something like that. I would do that all the time. But for this email to work, they really got to know that I'm really, truly interested. If somebody says, I know you're interested in enterprise software, then clearly that's a form email because I have no interest in enterprise software at all.
Right. So do your research on people that you're pitching to make sure it's relevant for them.
And then, many people say, Dear Gary,
Really?
Yeah. Another way I make a really fast judgment is when you're in Gmail, often you see the person's avatar, right?
Mm-hmm.
So if it's a dumbass avatar, I just make an instant decision. Only a dumbass would have a dumbass avatar. Why am I bothering with this email? I also, when it comes from women and they're in like some bikini or some cocktail dress, I got to tell you, I make the same judgment. I just say,
not professional.
Yeah.
You say not profesh.
Yeah, right.
Okay, so presentation pitches, another area I know you're passionate about. If somebody wants to make a great presentation deck, what would you recommend that it have?
So I think it should have, roughly 10 slides.
Mm-hmm.
It should have a black background, not white, black. Should be white text on black background. The smallest font should be 30 points, sans serif, bold. So, if you could just use Arial black. And Arial black but white.
Yeah, you like Arial bold.
Well, I'm changing to Arial black.
Really?
I'm upping my quality standards.
Wow.
And if you just did that, if you did 10 slides, black background, white text, sans serif, bold font, 30 points or more, put in as many diagrams as you can and as little text as you can, you're better than 90% of the pitches in the world right there.
And then how long do people usually take to pitch? 10 to 15 minutes?
Well, I very seldom read a pitch or read a PowerPoint. Via email, I just make a decision based on the 1 or 2 sentence description.
Good to know, but I hope people are taking notes. Okay,
well,
so
people send me a 10 megabyte PowerPoint file and they think I'm going to go through their 60 slides. They're hallucinating.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Because one thing, a lot of times I'm reading email on Virgin America using GoGo Wireless, right? And you think I'm going to download your 10 megabyte PowerPoint file to see that you have a patent pending curve jumping paradigm shifting technology with a proven business model and a world-class team? I don't think so. They have
the best market ever, but their competitors are just stupid, right?
Yeah.
The top 10 lies of entrepreneurs. Okay, so I wanted to talk about the chapter, The Art of Being a Mensch. Can you explain that?
So mensch is a German word to describe someone who's truly a gentle person, trusted person, a person who defaults to yes, who sees the good in everybody. And I think, that should be people's goals in life. That, I think prime example of being a mensch is probably Nelson Mandela. And you may find this surprising, but I think that Bill Gates, with all his work with the Gates Foundation, he's turning into a mensch. That I mean, he hasn't bought a basketball team and that
No.
kind of stuff. He's out there trying to cure measles or whatever, or malaria or whatever. And it's not about money. You don't have to be rich to be a mensch. You just have to be kind and giving. I got to tell my driver where to go. Okay, so we're going straight up the street. You're going to turn right on Middlefield, then you're going to turn left on Fair Oaks. Yeah, I'm just telling everybody where I live. That's not
Yeah. Well, I can edit that part out. Okay, so you're almost home. So we will close with, if you were a startup, how would you use social media to share your startup with the world?
Okay, so for most startups, social media equals marketing, right? It's the only marketing they can have because they don't have a lot of money. So I would start with Facebook probably, because I think Facebook has the most targeting, the most cost-effective, with dark posts and geographic posts. You can explain all this because you know this better than I do. And I would just post great content that appeals to my potential customers, that provides them information or assistance or analysis. And then I would earn the right to every once in a while promote your own product or service. So be like NPR, provide great content, then run your pledge drive.
Cool. Okay, well, I won't take up any more of your time because I know you're going to be home soon, and then we'll see like your whole house and everything. So I will close with, if this is of interest to you and you're an entrepreneur who would like to start, please grab a copy of The Art of the Start 2.0. And thank you, Mr. Kawasaki, for joining from your Uber car today.
I'll show you the driver. Say hello.
Hey, Uber driver. That's awesome.
So can I give one more piece of advice to entrepreneurs?
Sure.
Don't focus on PowerPoint, Excel, and Word. Don't focus on the business plan, the spreadsheet, and the pitch. Focus on making a prototype. And the concept is this MVP, like minimum viable product. I think you should make a minimum viable, valuable, that is important, and validating, that is proves your premise, your theory. And that's what you should focus on, not Excel, PowerPoint, and Word. Okay?
All right.
All right.
Thank you so much. Have a good night.
And by the way, we should build all the graphics with Canva.
Yes. I can't believe you took this long to mention Canva, but they definitely, actually, Canva is great for a startup. They don't have money for a designer, so.
Okay, take care.
Okay, thanks. Bye.